Fabulous Super Race, Chapter 17. Tumbling down the cliff. 17 racers were in Amazonia driving slowly on the ledge of a cliff. Yosemite Sam was ahead. Bugs was and Daffy was behind him. Bugs was driving slow and steady. Daffy was too. Suddenly, Daffy's wheel nearly slipped off the cliff. Daffy took a deep breath of relief. One racer behind him slipped off and began to tumble down the cliff and exploded. Daffy was nervous. Marlin was behind Daffy. This should be interesting, Marlin replied sinisterly. Marlin pulled out a remote and pressed the button on it. Suddenly a laser began to shoot on the ground behind him, causing it to crack. Those racers are going to have a bumpy ride, Marlin replied sarcastically. Suddenly a racer drove on the crack. Seconds later, the ground underneath him crumbled apart, causing the racer to fall down the cliff. Suddenly, the entire ledge began to crumble apart. Four other racers fell off the cliff as well. All of them fell down the cliff and exploded in flames. Wile E. Coyote fell off as well. Wile E. Coyote quickly opened up his panel and began pressing buttons on it. Seconds later, spikes popped out from the tires. Wile E. Coyote began driving on the side of the cliff. Minutes later, Yosemite Sam made it across the cliff. Ha, I made it. Take that, you varmints, Yosemite Sam shouted happily. Suddenly, Wile E. Coyote drove up the cliff and now was in the lead and was heading up the mountain. Why, you cheating varmint, Yosemite Sam shouted angrily. Yosemite Sam drove off towards him. Bugs and the other racers made it across the cliff as well and began to drive up the mountain.